Okay, our last concept that we want to discuss in section 3.4 is how to find the equation of a line using the slope-intercept form. So we have a couple of scenarios here. One is that we have the slope and the y-intercept just handed to us on a silver platter. Well, that's really easy. It's a plug and chug. You substitute m, you substitute b, voila, you have the equation. The second scenario is that I have 2 points and one is the y-intercept, and I have to go ahead and I have to find the slope. Or even better, somebody hands me the slope and I have to recognize an ordered pair that is the y-intercept. And then third scenario is that I could have a graphed line which goes through the y-intercept on the y-axis, and I have to find the visual or geometric slope, and then I have to recognize what the y-intercept is. So our first example here, example number 25, we have the slope and the y-intercept handed to us on a silver platter. So we're simply going to plug and chug. Y equals mx plus b. And there you go. There's the equation of that line, and it's just that simple. Now in the second one here, we have to look at this and say, okay, well there's my slope, but what is this ordered pair that's being given to us? Oh, well that's 0b, isn't it? Because the x is 0 and the y is therefore the y-intercept. So again, just almost as easy except for that bit of recognition to write the equation. Negative 3/2 x plus the y-intercept, which is 5. But you have to be able to recognize that when an ordered pair has an x that's equal to 0, you're being given the y-intercept. Okay, let's see what our next one has in store for us. Our next one, we have a special case here. We have undefined slope. When there's undefined slope, that means we're dealing with a vertical line, and we have the x-intercept here. X is equal to negative 1/2 and y is equal to 0. Well, what that's really telling us is what the x is equal to. So this vertical line, undefined slope, tells us vertical line. Vertical lines always have an x equals, and whatever the x equals is what's in that ordered pair. Remember those things that I told you that were really important about vertical and horizontal lines? One of them being their slope, one of them being the ordered pairs, and one of them being the equation. Well, here's where these things come full circle and come into play with one another. The next one, our part D here, we see m equals 0. Well, as soon as we see m equals 0, that's telling us that our line is horizontal. And then once we see that our line is horizontal, it doesn't matter if we're given the y-intercept or not. We could be given any ordered pair, but when we know it's a horizontal line, we know that this y is the thing being specified. So we know y equals negative 2. And so that is our equation in that particular case. Now remember with the y-intercept, or with the slope-intercept form, right? Y equals mx plus b, that's very obvious. 0 times x plus a negative 2, and that tells us that y equals negative 2. And that's great, but it's much easier than that, and I really want you guys to get used to recognizing that when you're given a slope equals 0, you're talking about a horizontal line. And horizontal lines, whatever the y-coordinate is what the equation is. Because with an x or a vertical line, vertical lines don't fall under slope-intercept form. They're not something that we call a function, and therefore there's no way to find the equation of a vertical line based upon slope-intercept form. We simply have to recognize here that this slope being undefined does mean that this thing is a vertical line, and vertical lines, whatever the x is their equation. So that's how those things come into play. Now we're going to see our next scenario in the next example.